Hi everyone, it's almost 2 o'clock. I think I don't even know what time it is. It's night here in the United States. Um, I think it's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. But I was on Skype with my friend from Ukraine, my telepath friend. We're gonna explore more about the traps in the Matrix and tell people how to distinguish quickly between the cyborgs, biorobots, and real humans with souls connected to their conscious, subconscious connected. When her sister started screaming, she said, Katya, Katya, come to the window, look, there's 3 buildings on fire. And we actually heard 3 explosions before that, and she was ignoring them, saying that, well, I'm so used to it. She's in Dnipro, which is like Zaporizhia kind of region and close to Kiev also. And so we hung up immediately because she had to run to the shelter. Next thing I know, I go online and I see that is it's called Shevchenkov region in Kiev. They bombed it. And so I called my brother. He said, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine. Next thing I know, after he says he's fine, I hear the huge explosion on the phone. He says, Oksana, wait. And he goes to the window and sees, she says, well, I see fire coming from behind the building. So he had to run also. Apparently that attack in Zaporizhia, Kiev, and Dnipro tonight. So we just hung up and he ran. And that's how my nights are. Some of my nights are like that. And my brother is the only person in my family who is left, and he's very close to me. I'm very close to him. That's the reality. That's the war that some people don't believe in. That's the war that some people say to ignore. That's the war that people blame this controller, this president, or that president. And really, I don't care about any of this. All I care right now, because I'm human, is about my brother and about my friend who is at Dnipro and her sister. So that's why I always say, you have to think about non-physical part and physical part also. And because our soul sits inside the physical part and has emotions and feelings, it's not good to ignore emotions and feelings. And when you feel worried, when you feel sad, and when something is happening in the world, it's actually good to look and see what is actually happening and feel the feelings through yourself, because that's what makes you human. That's what the difference is between you and a cyborg or by a robot on the street. Also, an interesting thing I wanted to share, since I'm making this video, and I just don't feel like making many videos these days. I watched an interview with one person, with one guy. He's pretty young. He's 35, who surrendered. He was taken through the general mobilization. I lived in Lutsk. I think it's a Russian city. Somebody came from military guys, just came to his job, and he was a computer guy at the factory, who was the factory that makes baby food. He was controlling the process through a computer system. They just told him 3 to 5 years of prison if you don't go with us, and they threw him to Ukraine. And the ironic part, which explains how we attract what we fear and what we don't want to look at, he said that he watched a few interviews of the Russian soldiers who either surrendered or were taken by Ukrainians in the battlefield. And he said, when I was watching those interviews, I was fearing. I told myself they would be so scary if I were one of those people. And he said, never in my life would I ever go to war. Never in my life would I ever let anybody take me and force me to fight. And here it is. He actually surrendered. he was taken by his own fear of going to prison, and he admitted that he went as part of the cattle. That was all of the people, he called them cattle, that they were taken by fear, by threats, taken to war in Ukraine, to the fields of Ukraine. Weapons were not shooting, cars were not doing the job, they didn't really have appropriate equipment, and they were called by the commander the meat. So that's how, it is. He basically attracted what he feared the most. Therefore, we should remember that, but we should also, it's a very, very big trap when they tell you just don't let yourself think or watch anything negative, because that negative would lower your vibration. In return, they would not allow you to transition to 5D or whatever D you pick to transition to, which is not truth, because by telling you this, they create fear, deep ingrained fear in your subconscious, that you cannot let yourself see anything negative of this world. And this world is composed of duality of positive and negative going hand in hand together. So it's obviously normal to see both sides, and it's obviously normal not to fear either side. That's just the example I wanted to share with you, how that happens. And that's precisely why I talk about war, and that's precisely why I share my feelings with you, because I'm a human, and I know everything's gonna be fine. But at the moment when on Skype, I and this I am talking about the professional telepath I'm friends with for over 2 years. She was scared for a second there. I saw the fear in her eyes, because she saw the 3 buildings on fire right across the street from her house. So, and I saw her dog jumping onto her, almost hugging her with her paws around her belly. And in that moment, I understood. It's just us, it's just humans. We have to accept that. We have to accept our feelings and the moments of fear. We have to accept all of this and embrace it, and not to fear to have the feelings. And that's called the strengths. Because the only thing that I ultimately believe in is the strengths of my soul. Everything else is just, I go through motions here and there, but the strength of my soul remains the same. I always speak my truth. I always express myself, and I'm never gonna be fearful of expressing anything. Even if I have a moment of fear, I will still talk about it, because it's very normal for everybody to feel that way. Being in a human body, having 5 senses through which you basically absorb this reality, and this reality is created through those 5 senses, which you cannot shut down, because if you shut them down, it just means you're fearing to see how it is. That's all I wanted to share. It's very hard to explain all of this, but basically any belief systems that you have, because when you form it inside and then you watch a video and you're expecting your favorite person who has a channel to support your point of view or your belief system inside you, and if that person doesn't support, you immediately write a negative hate comment type thing, that you disagree, and in a very negative way when you express it. That just means that you have to dig deeper inside yourself and ask yourself, why do I feel that way? Why do I feel so aggressive towards somebody who just expresses a different opinion, or just speaks his or her own truth? I just have to listen to it. If I don't like it, I go to another channel. Or maybe if I don't like it in such a negative way, maybe it's given to me as a tool to ask myself more questions and dig deeper and ask myself, why do I react this way? Yeah, these are the things I've been thinking about lately, and I totally understand how people are all getting sucked in and into multiple traps of this reality, and how they shut down their feelings, becoming cyborgs and biorobots, thinking they're awakened, but in fact they're cyborgs and biorobots, totally not awakened. They just made themselves shut down the feelings, not express themselves, or only focus on love and light, or only as they say, act from a point of love, which is beautiful. Naturally, we all kind of naturally act from a point of love towards others. But there are moments when you feel that feeling that you need to tell people the truth. You need the world to see what's happening, and you need to make them, or at least try to make them, feel the way you feel. Because if they don't feel the way you feel, if something's like the war going on in your country, and I don't care who created this war, how it's all made by two parties or whatever, 3 parties, 4 parties. It's about the human body and the souls inside the human bodies suffering from the consequences of the matrix programs. That's all what matters. And if you don't say no to this, they'll take it as a yes, as a silent yes. And they tell your ignorance would mean silent yes, and that would just mean that the war will come to your life, to your family, to your country. If you don't say no to it. And there are different ways to say no to it. Absolutely different ways. You can just save a cat that lost its home in Ukraine, or you can help people who fled Ukraine. And people are doing it. A lot of people are doing it. So, that's what it is. Expressing your human self is important because we are stuck in these bodies, and that's how you keep your conscious and subconscious, your mind, your heart and soul connected by being human, by expressing your feelings and thoughts and emotions. That's all that matters. That's how it is. So that's the strength is in expressing yourself, and the strength is not in ignorance and just fearing to be in low vibration because you see there's some negative things going on in this matrix. That's what I wanted to share with you tonight. Thank you for listening. Bye.